Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me. Good evening.
Well, today's International Youth Day, right?
Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
To us, the youth.
That's right. We welcome you. We're still accommodating.
Okay, I like that. But let's look at this. I mean, yes, we're celebrating the International Youth Day, but there are those who are concerned that the Nigerian youth hasn't really shown that he's capable of taking his place and leading. Do you agree with that?
Well, it depends on the situation, but truly we really have to make the difference between capacity and access. Nigerian young people have the capacity to lead. The challenge is access to spaces of governance. When we look at our democracy, for instance, political parties are the nucleus of that system. How easy is it for the average young person to access the space to emerge as candidates for elections? Starting from the question of nomination forms to the questions of godfatherism and the sit-tight leaders that we have, to the questions of economic dependence and the alienation that comes with a minimum wage that is just about 70,000. I mean, given the realities of today, that under this modernization, rising costs, inflations, and all of that, young persons have to grapple with. So the questions of social expectations, it's really not easy. So there is really no functional system of enablement. And in fact, the average young person in Nigeria has to be congratulated for the efforts that they put in, which appears to be what many older generation would think are distractions, but it's really young people finding their alternative means to express themselves on social media, to make money, to survive, to adapt, and still find a voice to express themselves.
Okay, I hear you here, but I just want to clarify. You've talked about the Nigerian young people with capacity, but no room or no access to governance spaces. You know, then there will be that argument, do they need access to governance spaces, or they can start from where they are to push forward, come together, galvanize the, galvanize the needed momentum and mass to move forward?
Well, I can tell you one thing. Mobilization is not easy. It does take a lot of time. It does take a lot of resources. Some of us in this space are actually doing quite a lot with regards to that mobilization. We have communities with civic leadership clubs being established, where these young people are being brought together to learn about politics, to engage. And it's not just Africana League, for instance. There are many civil society organizations that are engaging on this process. But when I say access, it is because there is the imperative also of the legal systems to actually make room. That does not excuse the responsibility of young people. And that's why we continue to do what we do. Because at the end of the day, it really, the onus boils down to us to be able to initiate, to be able to take up the challenge of what we call artisans. People who don't just sit down somewhere to complain about the problems, but who ask questions and take the next right step, you know, towards problem solving. So we're working on that. It's really not an easy process. And like I said, we really do have to congratulate young people like myself, you know, who are doing quite a lot. You need to sit down to hear some of these challenges. It's not easy. We're talking politics, okay? And in the politics as we currently have with our expensive democracy, you need resources, you need visibility, you need people to know what you're doing. You need to have access to networks. Young people don't have that. The average, I mean, we're still contesting, for instance, the question of the national youth policy, whether the age for youth definition should be 24, as it is with United Nations, or 35, as obtains with the African Union. All of this is putting in terms the consideration that the average African youth, and then in our own peculiar case, Nigerian youth, is a late starter given the challenges of resources, the extra motivation they would need to, you know, to access education, to access a lot of things. I was giving an example at a program I was a keynote speaker. You showed it earlier just recently. I had to stay back 3 years, no admission, but with good JAMB scores, for no reason that could be explained to me as a citizen. What does that do? It alienates. And it means that I have to work through depression. I have to walk through my psychosocial composure. I have to walk through grieving the years. In fact, the course of study that I eventually chose was different from my own original aspirations because I felt I had lost time. So a lot of young people have to grapple with these things. And at the time that they are grappling with these things, they even lack vocabularies to express what these challenges are. So we really have to be understanding and empathetic to that reality. Why not absolving or excusing the responsibility to do something about our situation?
Okay, you know what, we'll just go on a quick break. I was going to ask you about the youth and the young people and the 2027 elections.
Right.
But you know what, let me let you go. Let me see if I can grab another young person to answer that question as regards the elections. Thank you so much. We've been speaking with Glory Ukwenga, who's Executive Director of Africana League. Thank you for coming in. And we do hope we can always drag you in to come talk to us once again.
I'll be open.
Thank you.
Right.
Thank you once again.